Ryback Show starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show. Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, the Big Guy Ryback. We are streaming live on Instagram and TikTok, the Big Guy Ryback22. Thank you to those of you who are attending the live streams. Swing on over here to Ryback TV, where you guys are the co-host of the show. The ebb and flow of the show goes where your questions goes, health, fitness, supplementation, pro wrestling, sports, and anything and everything in between. We are streaming live on Facebook at Ryback Reeves and also at Twitter today at Ryback. This show is available on all podcast platforms. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated for those of you that can take a moment and help the cause of the show and that listen to all our audio listeners. I thank you greatly for that here. This show is brought to you by Feed Me More Nutrition, my premium supplement line, sweetened with stevia and monk fruit, no harmful artificial sweeteners or colors for all people, men and women, he, she, and thee. Feedmemore.com. We have all the discounts in there for new customers. Save 30%. Discount code Ryback30, Ryback30. Returning customers can save 20%. Discount code FEEDME20, FEEDME20 on that. And this month, we're giving you a free bottle of our too sweet blood sugar support formula with that, guys. Check that out. It helps to process and digest carbohydrates and fats more efficiently. Great to take when you have a high carbohydrate meal or a cheat meal. The stuff is very, very beneficial. That is yours absolutely free as a free gift all month here of April from me to you for buying the best supplements on the planet or all the Ryback merch and different accessories we have on feedmemore.com. Wild weekend, great weekend, wild week of news, a lot going on here today, guys. With that, we'll get to your questions and with everything. But I want to say thank you to everybody that came out during the WrestleCon Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There, Friday was a good day. Saturday, the convention did not have as many people, and they were saying that was going to be the busy day. That was kind of the slow day. And Sunday was a very steady, solid day as well. But Friday was the bigger day of all of those. Well, a lot of people on Friday in comparison to the weekend with that. But 3 days, met a lot of great people, even people that didn't come over for pictures and autographs. A lot of people came over and said hello. A lot of great conversations. So thank you very much for everybody that came out. That was a great weekend. It was good to see a lot of familiar faces out there, meet all of you guys, and see a lot of the wrestlers. Some of the wrestlers I've not met since I've been away. So it was a really, really fun, great weekend. And I stayed out at Knott's Berry Farm Hotel in Buena Park. And it was only 30 minutes away in the morning. But by the time I'd head out after the event, it turned into like an hour and 20 minutes with good old California traffic, LA traffic with that. But which, by the way, driving through downtown LA, it has changed drastically. I know I've seen some people that, look, I posted a video of it on my social media. And some people are like, oh, it's been like that for 10 years. It has not been like that for 10 years because I have been there within the last 10 years multiple times, and it was not like that. So I have a feeling I know the people that are saying that, what political affiliation they are, because they just blatant lies with that. But it's a wild thing to see that kind of stuff in person, and the trash everywhere and the tents and people just walking around all drugged out. And it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And it's not a good reflection of the direction that we're going, that many people that this is happening to in a short period of time, because when that happens, not everybody is, just doesn't happen overnight. Typically stuff happens, and a lot of people are veterans and people that had lives prior, and they have something happens or multiple things happen, and they break, whether it's emotionally, mentally, physically, and then there's a lot of stuff that leads them to that point. And I always try to look at things in the big picture of that. And, because a lot of people go, well, they do it to themselves if they're drug addicts or alcoholics. And I go, and that's not incorrect, but it's also, there's things that get people to that point, and where that stuff just gets them through another day of, they've lost all hope. And it's a really frustrating situation. And, I just look at a situation like that with our government, and because people go, "What's the solution? What's the solution? How do we fix it?" Well, my thing would be we don't send billions and billions and billions of dollars to another country. We invest that money into our cities, our big cities, and eventually every city, and have great programs in facilities where people can stay and get clean and get them back into a state of mind to get back out into the workforce and be productive members of society. That is what common sense tells me we need to do on a mass scale with that. I'm not a politician. I don't know. But I look at that. I go, what we need to get people off the streets. We need to get them cleaned up, and we need to get them rehabilitated, and we need to have programs and facilities in place. Rather than sending Ukraine all of our money, let's invest in our cities, okay? And let's start trying, because the more members of society we have that are productive, because we all can live happy lives, and we got it, but we got to get people going. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a big dumb pro wrestler with a supplement company that I built from nothing, and multiple other things. But hey, let's just keep letting them pile up on the streets, and giving them free drugs, and and let's see where that keeps leading to. So. All right. Here we go. We have a lot going on, guys, today. WWE has been bought out by Endeavor that owns UFC. They are now, and there's wild. And because we've talked about that, we'll go into details if you've got specific questions. There's a lot of unknowns still with all of this, but it looks like Vince is back in charge outside of is it area Emmanuel? The guy that runs the Endeavor will be the CEO of UFC and WWE, but and they're going to merge the companies and share a stock symbol, which I saw it was going to be TKO or something along the lines of that. I don't. There's still some things that are being all worked out with all of that, but the deal essentially is been done, and it'll be finalized later this year, and Vince taught UFC and Dana everything that they know about the fighters and everything going on over there. They duplicated the WWE system for talent, and now they have merged. So take that how you will, whether that's a good thing or bad thing. But we'll kind of just take a sit back and watch approach. But I will say I am 1000% happier than ever that I own my brand and have that is going to be more important than ever moving forward. And I think it's going to be, we're going to see some interesting things in the coming years. All right, WrestleMania, WrestleCon. I mean, what do we got? Let me start getting to the questions here, and I saw the majority of WrestleMania. I did miss a few matches because I was driving home. I had it on my phone, watched pretty much the whole show, the majority of it yesterday. I did miss a couple things, and because Wi-Fi got a little iffy at a couple points on the drive back from Cali to Vegas with that. But I enjoyed the majority of what I saw on WrestleMania, and I'm very easy to be pleased, and I'm not like the people that complained all the time about it. I enjoyed everything, and I really thought that my favorite thing I think that I saw from this off the top of my head before we get to your questions was Shane McMahon. I hope to God he's going to be all right. Last I saw that he said I thought it was his knee. But the attachment to your quad, it attaches down there. And I'm assuming that's where he blew it out. But he blew out his quad on the up and over with Miz, the drop down leapfrog, and he came down and was not able. His quad probably just came clean off the bone, I would imagine, with the way that it looked. And he tried to get back in place and couldn't. And then Miz kind of just hit the ropes and then had to stop. And the real all-star in all of that. And I don't know if somebody if Triple H was on the headset or Vince, I don't know if somebody or whoever was able, because they're able to the referee has the earpiece and you can and they could sometimes buzz things pretty quickly. And I don't know if somebody was at ringside that also had a headset that told Snoop Dogg, like, hey, go punch Miz or something, or if Snoop Dogg just completely improvised that. But he got in the ring and just punched Miz, which it looked like it connected. Like, I don't see Snoop Dogg working on his punches in the back in case he needs to go throw one in the ring. So he probably connected pretty decent with Miz. And then Miz is probably not knowing what's going on, but knows enough to, sell. And then gets back up and gets another one. And then the referee, you could hear the referee telling Snoop Dogg people's elbow, which is a completely wild thing. Snoop Dogg's not a young man. And but the fact that they probably knew he knew what the people's elbow was because he's a huge wrestling fan. And I was just thinking, oh God, I hope Snoop doesn't blow out a knee or something doing something with this, because he's not trained to do this, and he he works really hard, but he's a laid back lifestyle. He's not in there training to drop people's elbows, but he pulled it off, and the segment actually probably was better than what it was going to be, with just a match between Shane and Miz. But I will say that might have been to the match where there was a thing and Miz gets beaten. Maybe after Snoop was supposed to punch Miz afterwards, and maybe so he knew enough to just come in and punch him anyways. And then the referee said, no, people's elbow, because the match is technically going on, and just let Snoop just get a pinfall over Miz, right? And Miz, being the professional he is and knowing what they're doing. And but I'll say that was Snoop Dogg to not be involved in wrestling on a regular basis and to just effortlessly come in. And it was simple, but it went so good that you go, wait, was that the plan all along? Even though, just seeing the way what happened with Shane, clearly he blew out something like that. It just wouldn't make sense to return to have that happen right away. But it was a testament to how well that Snoop handled that. And so that was one of my favorite things, and not Shane getting hurt, obviously, but with how they covered for it. All right, here we go. We're going to start off. Sport of Wrestling says, I need an explanation about Cody Rhodes not winning last night. You give a great explanation about things, and I just want to hear your point of view because I'm disappointed and just want to hear yours. So here's the thing, that we talked about this in the coming weeks with it, and I told you guys with this, unless Cody got it in his contract that he was going to win a world championship, Vince and them, and this is stuff, they get the last laugh no matter what. And I pointed this out to you guys prior. I said, do you think they're going to let a guy who walked out and went and created competition for them, and as successful as he was in everything, but then took shots at Hunter along the way? He literally took shots at Hunter on TV and you could say whatever you want about any of this. And Hunter, these guys, the elites, play chess on a whole other level, guys. So they will let you think you're winning all along, and they'll know. I told you with all my legal stuff with me, you guys saw it how it plays out. They let you get as close as you can get, and then nope, physical acting, but they know how much it means. So this is where I pointed this out a week or two ago to you guys, that this would not shock me at all. Also, another point with this is Roman is the big story and has been. He's been the thing that they have been trying to get to work forever, even when it wasn't working to the level that it should have been as it was with other guys. It wasn't easy. Like me, I was just over. It got over. Roman didn't just get over with it, and it took, and everyone was like, they're just shoving them down our throats. Remember all this going on? But they stuck with it for 7 years, and then finally they figured out something. And this is nothing against Roman. Roman's awesome. I love Roman with all of it, but this is he's been their big focal point with it. And so if he's the main storyline, if he's the main character of all the characters, what does anyone think that they're going to let someone come in and so we'll see where the story goes. Hunter says the story never ends. That's a lie. The story ends all the time. The story of WWE may never end, and the fact that they don't have any off days because they don't care about the talent or anything like that. So everything just continues on so they can continue making as much money. with all of that. So the story of WWE never ends, but the story of the individual characters do indeed ends, and we have a history of it ending for a lot of characters. In which this is where I get mad. They have people in these PR conferences that are marks that are afraid. If I heard him say that, I'm instantly going to point that out to him and put him on the spot up there. But these people are not real journalists; they're marks, and they're like, "Oh, Hunter's talking. Oh man, the King of Kings," and that's what's going on. So, with it, but you guys just let these people get away with murder and say whatever they want, and you don't question them on anything when they're in the hot seat. You don't ask like the real legitimate questions with it. But the stories for characters do end. And it's very possible the story for Cody could end, or they could keep it going for another pay-per-view or two with it. But if he's not the main character and it's not the goal for it, he's just playing a supporting role as the babyface. And that's all that it is with it. All right, I'm looking through your questions here, guys. I'm doing well, thank you very much. Hold on, I'm going through your questions here, guys. Yeah, Chris, this is a good point. Chris is interested in the gambling situation now that they're merging. Yeah, and that makes more sense even with Vince exploring that option, right? With betting, and then there are some things going on already. And I know AEW does stuff with DraftKings, but a lot of that I don't understand how with the amount of people in pro wrestling with finishes, I don't understand how any of it could actually legitimately be gambled on, because it's scripted, and it's impromptu, and it's scripted, and there's so many variables, and there's so much room for corruption within that. If I'm involved in wrestling, and I've got a buddy who's a big gambler, and there's a big bet going on, and I don't know if there's limits or if there's going to be limits on this, or you know what I mean. But if there's some sort of thing, hey, for Ryback versus Roman, if there's 5 chair shots, are there going to be over under 5 chair shots in the match, or over under 3 chair shots in the match? And I know that's one of the bets out there. And I know there's chairs under the rings, and I know my buddy's like, bro, can you get 4 chair shots in? And like, yeah, no problem with it. But I'm not. That can easily, yeah, you're taking a risk doing that and things and whatnot. But how there's just room for it because it's not it's physical entertainment. And that's the things when I hear that if anybody's in the gambling scene, they know what are going on with it. And it would be really easy to do stuff and through encrypted email and with a buddy. Like, this is why I'm saying I just don't see how it's now. Is anyone really going to go through that effort and do that? I don't know. I certainly wouldn't. But it's not an actual, fight where it's just, and even in real sports, and we still have people saying there's corruption and things like that with things, right? So what do we think is going to happen within a scripted entertainment setting? There's even more room for that. So I don't understand it, but I'm not like hating on. However, they have a way of doing it. It just seems wild trying to control the uncontrollable. DraftKings, how many shell shocks does Ryback beat Roman Reigns with? Oh man. But like you never like it's just wild, like that kind of stuff. That's plus too because it's the talent. And like if you're just living your life and you're never done anything wrong, but like something happens in a match and you do something impromptu, but like it causes people to win a lot of money. Like, are you then open to investigation? Because there's a how many shell shocks in the match between Ryback and Roman Reigns, and it was whatever it is, and something happens out there, and we have to hit another one, and we weren't supposed to, but we had to do something happened with it. Like, then or me and Roman open to investigation that we colluded to try to to help people win money or lose money. Like that to me as a talent is like, no, I'm not dealing with that. I didn't sign up for that. Fake fighter, man, come on. Do I think Goldberg will sign with AEW because he took pictures with Matt and Wardlow? Well, Goldberg was at WrestleCon. I didn't see him on this. It was they this was actually the WrestleCons I'd always have been to. Everybody was on. It was always one big floor or thing, typically, where everybody's on the same level. So all the fans and like could walk around and go to the different tables and meet the different people. On this one, it was in the Millennium Biltmore Hotel downtown LA. And so there was like the lobby and that floor level. So there's rooms on the floor level that talent were in signing. And then there's elevators that you had to find that went up, and it was a tiny elevator, the one that we used to go up. So I don't know if there was a main one for people too, for all the fans, that to go up to 4 different levels that were all talent. The people, they had all of us on 4 different levels with everything. And I was on a great one. We had a great crew. We had all the active, or the majority of the active AEW guys, like Adam Cole, Britt Baker, Jungle Boy. I know they had Hobbs and QT Marshall were there the other day, and I don't know if because Dan would have seen Dan. Brian Danielson was there one day. I didn't see him. Saw a lot of people. Didn't see him. And then, but Wardlow and them, I was told they were there on one of the other levels with that. So that people take pictures all the time. I posted pictures with some of the people that we were able to get pictures with that came over to us. So it was a great time though. I was by Boogeyman the whole time. I tell you what, Boogeyman did is well or almost as well as anybody there. He stays in character, and he was very, very popular with the kids and everyone. He has 2 new action figures out too. He has the Legends deal with WWE. Very important to keep getting action figures because it keeps him alive in all the younger people's eyes. Oh man, kids and adults, not just kids. I'm telling you, because we keep an eye when it would die down and everybody you wait. People come up throughout the day. You're there for multiple hours. So sometimes you'll get 3, 4, 5 people. Sometimes you get a little bit of a line. Other times it's just a person that comes, they come over. And then other times there's dead periods. But Boogie, his dead periods were very few and far between. And I'd done things with him before, and his were even better now than in the past. So I'm like, man, that is a good sign. He's entertaining, man. He stays in character for the fans. And it takes him like 3 hours to put all that paint on. And man, he's such a good dude. I told him, I'm happy because we came up together and Tough Enough with it, and to see him like with that, just it's good that because he's a really, really quality human being with all of that. But I don't know if to answer your question, if Goldberg's going to go to AEW or not. That would be something that he would have to work out with AEW, and I'm focused on just simply what I'm doing, and as all the wrestlers are. We could speculate all day long. Is WWE going to give him a retire match, or you would think he would do a retirement match WWE if he was going to. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if the presentation. I don't know about the music, like any of that, how that all works with that. You would want the package to be pretty similar as it's always been if he's going to do one last match, but that we'll just have to wait and see. I'll tell you too, my thoughts. I really enjoyed Omos and Brock Lesnar yesterday to kick off the day 2 of WrestleMania. Unfortunately, Omos did not get the win, and even though he had a spectacular showing in the performance, and it wasn't the longest match in the world, but a very dominating performance and throwing Brock around. And that's exactly how I would want to do that match if I was in that situation, and to make the most out of Omos still if he was going to lose. And that's pretty much, Brock didn't get anything until the end. He got 3 Germans, and the crowd went crazy, and they were into it. And he and then finally a failed attempt at an F5, and then a reverse out of Omos's finisher into a fine 1 F5. And and he beat him. But my thing is, and here's where I get when I watch this stuff. Brock, and how many times have they done this with people like Roman and guys where 4, 5, 6 F5s, right? And they did it with Braun, where they stacked all these things to make the guy look stronger. I don't understand why they didn't um, make Omos look stronger with more with F5s if Brock has already done that. It's not like his finish has been his finish is still been protected to a degree. Only certain people have been allowed from WWE to kick out of it multiple times, right? But I don't know, picking it almost up is definitely probably no easy feat either. Having been picked up people heavier than that, even it's definitely, it's not easy having to do that multiple times. But Brock was more than capable of hitting at least 2 F5s, and that would have been maybe the only thing I would question. I'm always a fan, though, too, when the finish, just hitting your finisher once. I've talked about this. The thing is, it's been done already so many times where he hasn't done that with his finish, with talent they're protecting. So it makes me question. I go, how invested are they in Omos with this? But it's been the same formula. It's been destroy everybody, lose to a big guy, destroy everybody, lose to a big guy, destroy everybody. Now for a third time, lose to a big guy. So that's where these repetitive patterns in character development. Like there has to be people in creative that goes, look, we have a pattern going with this guy. We have to make sure on the next one, like we have to build him up and go somewhere if we're going to do something, or avoid doing this for the time being. And I don't know, but he was in a great spot for it. But sometimes if you're in a great spot just for one show, it may not be the best spot for your career overall, and that's yet to be seen what transpires moving forward with Omos. But Brock's a main character guy for WWE, and for anybody that ever, the main characters, when you're in that inner circle, the main characters get figured in over and over and over, and the ones that aren't don't. And that's just the name of the game. I don't know. We have to wait and see what the storyline for Cody Rhodes is going to be. I'm telling you, if the story and the focal point is always going to be on Roman, they clearly want this to go a certain amount of time, or we just have to wait and see. We just have to wait and see. And again, though, this is not a negative for Cody in any way. The guy main evented WrestleMania, right? With it, and it's just acting with it. But from a character standpoint, where does the Cody Rhodes character, where can he go after this? Are they going to sidetrack him off with Solo again, even though he already beat him? Are they going to like do something with that, or are they gonna go another 1 or 2 more pay-per-views with Cody Roman? If Cody goes another 2 or 3 pay-per-views and Roman remains champion, then you do have the question, where does Cody Rhodes go after that? And these are tough things when you sign deals and you're in their system and you got to be used on everything. This is why it's really difficult. The guys don't understand. Like, I value not being in that, because it is the most stressful thing in the world, where like your value is about to go down, because you just know that what the role called for. And there's sometimes a real problem there of long-term character development outside of their few people they protect. And it's a scary, scary thing with it, which is why I'm a big fan of knowing your storyline going in and getting out with it if you can. Not everyone can do that, but it's it's wild. Looking at your questions here, guys. Appreciate everyone joining the Ryback Show. Super chats are greatly appreciated and pulled up on screen. Omos is supposedly 7'3", right? 7'3" or 7'4". I thought they built him at 7'3", which by the looks of him, how big, he definitely looks every bit of it. The size difference between him and Brock was a lot. Now Brock is only about Germans and F5s. F5 to a giant was the only cool moment, and it was a very cool moment, and the place went crazy. that match that people were into that match the entire time. I'm not against the match not being overly long. Plus, two, and they do that also to protect, because if Omos is just destroying Brock, he should beat him if that match just kept going and he just keeps destroying him. That's one of the reasons why they will do a shorter match like that, to where it's just. And it was good. It was great, and it was entertaining. And I love that it kicked off the show with it. It's just there's a repetitive pattern kind of happening. I thought Omos and Bobby and Braun really had really good matches too, with how they did everything with it. It's just it's tough. I'm telling you, being that big, he's too big. He's too big if you're not gonna protect him all the way. Because guys like that, this is what me and Hunter had conversations with him. I go, with guys that look a certain way, you have to overly protect them because people expect them. They look so physically intimidating and dominating that people that have a certain look and appearance and charisma and style to them, you have to protect them because it hurts them more when you beat them. And it's a crazy thing. Guys like Omos can't be used like The Miz, right? I think you all can agree with me. Do you think Omos could just be out there just getting guys called down to the ring, getting punched by Snoop Dogg? I mean, you could, but nobody would believe it with it. And that's one of the things that are really difficult about pro wrestling today, is that because of the way that this system is now, people just sign the contracts and you all get hurt, just corralled together, and they don't really just look at you individually, or they don't fully maximize what they have with each individual talent. They're just concerned with getting things off and plug in places and go. Because the story never ends. It just goes with the brand. And like, it's I am beyond grateful to be out of that, to see and just go, whew, that's one less thing to stress about. The Rock's not in W. Okay, King Tricks, we're going to go ahead and shell shock you out of here. We actually got 133 people back in the YouTube, which is, you guys can clearly see that when the channel has like only 30, when shadow bans and things, and even this is just a level above. It's still shadow banned, but a level above what the other one was with it. So we're curious. So whatever that their legal thing they put on that a couple weeks ago, they've now released it back to the level that it was prior. Good to see all of you. Yep, we talked about Shane getting injured and hopefully a successful surgery to repair that quad. And it's not an easy thing. He got a hell of a reaction coming out there. It's not easy. And he's older. People forget he looks great still, but he's older too with that. He's in his 50s, right? Mid 50s, if I'm not mistaken. He's or around that. And just a simple, it doesn't matter how much, warm up and ready to go, and just freak accident happened with that. But, I don't know, Vince is back, and then Shane and Vince, they're selling the company, or things are happening with the UFC deal. And Vince probably just figured I'll get Shane on one more in case that is, if for whatever reason that Vince is gone in a period of time, which they said he's not, but you never know. He doesn't have direct control anymore, or won't at some point in time. So I have no issues like with Shane. I love surprises on that, but and I heard some things from people, and I won't talk about certain things, but unfortunately, like for guys like Bobby Lashley, and I talked about that. I thought that and this sucks, because to be Bobby and to be used, because he's probably used on everything and used in a big way on live events and TV, and has been a focal point prior. And then he was figured into WrestleMania with Bray, and then whatever happened with Bray, and that gets put on pause. And that's where I thought you don't have to get him. Bobby would have been perfect for night 2 with The Miz, for Snoop Dogg, and to get Bobby a cool entrance and let him come down and beat Miz real quick. At least Bobby had the battle royal, and then he gets that moment on WrestleMania, which is all. And that's where I'm telling you, it's going to be very interesting to watch the developments between Bobby Lashley and the WWE, because I guarantee you, I know, because I've been in this position and know this causes friction and tension, because you just screwed over a guy that's given you everything, who wasn't afraid to walk out and leave before, by the way, with things. And then they like it because it's disrespectful for you, the guys that are bringing in money and on everything and giving their health and their life to them, and then you see they bring back people or bring celebrities on, and you're sitting in the back watching. If you think that goes unforgiven, you're out of your goddamn minds. Talent, you like, so it's going to be really like, things with Bobby and WWE can go south really quickly if that, like, or they can just Bobby find a way and that, but like it's personal. When you get left off that, you lose that payday on that, and that experience to go out there after working everything and being a focal point multiple times with it. And it can't always be about you and all this, but to be left off, not just the show for one night, but for 2 nights, that is, I'm telling you, people and anybody it's one thing when you haven't earned it, but Bobby has more than earned it, and should have, they like, that should have been a focal point for them with the Bray thing. Okay, Bray's, we don't need to get Bobby at a different angle, but what can we do to get Bobby on the show? Because this is how we reward. This creates a good locker room when you do this. These are the things they miss out on, where they're just so stupid sometimes, or maybe not. Maybe they're not so stupid, and maybe they always find a way to get you one way or another with it. But I just thought he should have had a moment on the show. I thought Wade Barrett should have been on there for commentary at least one of the nights. He's your commentator. He's been in the system forever. He's one of your most well-known. He's your most well-known wrestler on commentary with it. He's respected by all the guys. He's liked by all the guys and girls. He's a great commentator. You leave him off. That doesn't. Wade's the nicest. Wade, is a professional and about that. But like, I just get pissed off when I see this, because this is what causes friction between talent and the company for this thing, when you just get left off entirely with it. And they could say, oh, we're sorry, and this and that and that. It goes, dude, you just brought back a guy that hasn't even done anything to go do this. Or you bringing in celebrities that haven't earned anything, that aren't going to make a difference, that aren't going to make any money coming out here doing anything. Bobby was perfect for Snoop for that spot. Come out there, put him in a master lock, bam, tap, drop him. Miz gets up, he's all pissed off. Snoop comes in, punches him. Flexing Bobby and Snoop Dogg flexing in the ring after. It's a good little funny moment with it. And Bobby would have been creatively satisfied, no doubt, because he would have felt recognized. And this is the stuff they miss out on that makes me just so angry, that it's like, it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. You've got Bobby, best body in the company. He works harder than anybody to look like that. That takes day in, day out discipline to look larger than life with that. And you're just going to leave the guy off the show both nights. Not just a one-night Mania, 2 nights. That creates problems down the line, especially with he's a big name. He's a big name. I'm looking at we've got a super chat here. Thank you very much. I was just eating chips and you came to mind. Thank you very much. Always greatly appreciated. I am the face of chips. I'll tell you, night one, to talk about too, what I really enjoyed. The Dominic Rey Mysterio match, I absolutely loved, from the entrances and having Snoop Dogg out there with driving Ray out with Eddie Guerrero's music, and Dominic coming out with the police escort. I thought that was, I'm a big fan of the production on the entrances in the WrestleMania. So many people in that company behind the scenes. This is what I was telling you guys before, prior weeks ago, that it just takes so many people to pull off these successful events, from all the wrestlers going out there and doing the amazing things to all the people behind the scenes. And everybody, when you look at it as a whole, you can just go, how do they do this? But everybody has like a small little job, and that small little job they know how to do very well. And then you have people overseeing it, but just the timing and it is always a sight to see how they pull these things off. And I'll tell you, they do it better than anybody. And I can distinguish my personal issues with things and say when they do these things, the production value is better than anything, any company, not just wrestling, just in general. They know how to put on the best shows from a production standpoint. Yeah, but it's really difficult. You're saying yeah, Bobby should have been the one to for the Miz, squash the Miz, and hope that WWE makes it up to him at some point. It's the thing is it's a public perception thing too. When you're a talent and the fans see that, and then Bobby has to see the social media comments and things, and you just feel disrespected. You feel disrespected, and the company knows this. The company knows this. And I told you it's not easy getting everybody, and I'll be the first one to recognize. But like your people that are on, like Bobby's on every live event, probably main eventing a good portion of them. In TV, always figured in heavily. Has had multiple title runs here since being back, right? And he was figured in. He was on the card, so he was already going to be on the card. So it's not like he wasn't on the card on both. He was supposed to be on, but the incident, unfortunately, things happen. So you would just think they would go, well, how else can we get him onto the show? And then not just the battle royal thing on not the Andre the Giant battle royal on SmackDown, because that's not being on WrestleMania. It's not the same. Being on the pre-show is not the same. You want to be on the actual show. Good to see all of you guys. Hello, hello. I have not seen the Hell in a Cell between Finn and Edge. I did see highlights from Seth and Logan. I did not see that match, and I did not see the Austin Theory Cena match with that. Oh, this is a good. Jacob says. Jacob says, "You disappoint me every time, bro, because I keep hoping your music will hit every time it fails. I give up with you, man." Jacob, brother, I don't care. That's just me telling you, Jacob, you are disappointing yourself by having false expectations when I'm not going back. I've told you guys I'm not doing anything until I get my documentation. Like I'm clear as day with it. Like I can't help it if you want me to come back. Like I think that's great and awesome. You want me to come back, but to not understand the situation and to like, I will lose zero sleep, Jacob, if you have lost all hope in me coming back. LA Knight was left out. Well, that's so, but in LA Knight's case, a promo segment or something would have been nice. That he is a new talent. He hasn't been there for that long. That's not something most of the other talent, a new guy that hasn't been there for a full year already, and like on the road a full year, things happen. That one's not as big of a deal with that. His career is the Bobby thing is a bigger deal. And I think we'll see what else comes out with everything. The Bobby thing seems like a bigger deal, and it is a bigger deal. Hold on, let's do it. Jacob, what I want to do is I'm going to invite you onto the show, Jacob, because I think this is really important for people to see somebody from your point of view with everything. And let's have a conversation about it because I'm going to read your comment. Click on this link and come into the show, Jacob Hatcher. Jacob says you're just going to run into somebody. You're just going to turn into somebody that everybody used to love and no one knows who you are anymore. That's incorrect. There's a reason why I'm one of the most followed on social media also, Jacob, and why we need to get it fixed from the suppression standpoint of WWE. But I'm as recognizable as anyone. Everywhere I go, I went to Outback by my hotel in California. I took probably 5, 6, 7 photos, talked to multiple people coming over to me at the bar. And I wasn't nowhere near the downtown LA. This was a ways away with it. Just people recognize me, remember me, love me from social media, from wrestling. People haven't forgotten with that. But what that is that's you trying to use a fear tactic to make me like, oh my God, I'm going to go make a bad decision now for Jacob Hatcher so he feels good about himself and that his selfish needs can be met so that I make a really bad decision before I get to the point that I need to get, right? But click on that link, Jacob. Let's have a little conversation so I could talk to you about things in person, face to face, for the Ryback Show listeners. 184 people on the YouTube right now, guys. This is the highest we've been live on YouTube with my 430,000 subscribers, which that should be in the thousands, but thanks YouTube for at least better than what it's been. Come on, Jacob Hatcher, hop on in. I'm trying to get Jacob Hatcher on the show. He's running his mouth a little bit here. Every once in a while, we like to get one of the negative marks on the show and just have a conversation. And typically, Jacob will either be, I'm just trolling, bro. I'm just trolling. I just love you. I just want to see you back. And I go, well, why don't you just say that? That's a nice way to relay that rather than, or he hates me and he's really going to try to push the big guy's buttons, but we're just going to push Jacob's right back. Jacob doesn't want to click in here. Jacob, I give you guys, I give you guys an opportunity that you guys, I let you come on here. I don't block you. I let you say what you want to say. All I ask is you come on the show, let my listeners hear your voice, Jacob. Bring your points, bring your face to face with the big guy right here. I'm not in person. I can't do anything to you physically. I'm the one running the show. I'm going to keep my cool. I just want to talk. I want to hear your point of view from you looking me in my eyes via the computer screen and let the people kind of decide who has the better talking points. Jacob, the people are chanting for you. Jacob, 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 Jacob. Come on, Jacob. I know right now you're downing a few shots of whiskey. You're slapping your face, trying to hype yourself up to go one-on-one with the big guy. Look, I just want to be friends. I want to talk. I want you to be a Rybacker, my man. I don't want you to be an anti-Ryback. I don't want you to be one of them marks talking about all the bad things on Twitter or Facebook, those anti-Ryback chat groups that you go to. I want you on Team Ryback. Come on, Jacob. Talk to me. Talk to me. I have no friends, Jacob. I want you to be my friend. Jacob, be the big guy's friend. Come on. Friendship for the rest of eternity, man. Just Jacob and the big guy. It started off a little shaky, but man, smooth sailing after we started communicating. Hold on, what? Jacob said he's not being negative. Oh, Jacob, hold on, buddy. I'm just wanting to see you back. I didn't mean nothing by it. You're my favorite wrestler. I'm just wanting you to do something. Okay, so here we go. You guys just heard what I said prior. So, Jacob, what you are doing is trying to reflect your selfish needs and try to make me scared that I'm going to be forgotten. Like, that's the purpose of life. Jacob, I have news for you. Everybody in the entire world, if they forgot about me, that does not mean my life is not meaningful, or I can't be happy or can't be successful, which, by the way, one of the most followed pro wrestlers on social media, despite being suppressed for over 6.5 years. I needed a 5-disc fusion and shoulder replacement. I'm nearly 100%. The back's 100, the shoulder's almost right around the corner. I just won a trademark case. I walked out of WWE. I said, F you. I took everything and won everything, despite how long it took. Nobody does this. Nobody. I have done it time and time and time again. And you think I've got to this point, and it's all just going to be for nothing. What you should do is just be supportive in that, rather than what you're doing is being very selfish, and you want to use me for your entertainment. And so what you do is then you try to put the fear tactics in there with that. You need to learn to be more positive and say, Ryback, I love you. I've been so patient. I can't wait for you to come back. I really, really hope you finish it, man. I hope you're able to come back. We're so close. That's what you should be saying. That I go, man, yeah, we are so close. And I just 1 or 2 more months for that trademark, Jacob. We'll see what route we're gonna go with it. But like when you try to go, everybody's gonna forget you. No, not everybody's gonna forget me, Jacob. Do you think unless they delete all my social media accounts and lock me up like Andrew Tate, which will probably make me more popular, but 212 people in here. Jacob, you're bringing viewers in, Jacob. Let's go live for a little bit, Jacob. No, you're bringing in you're a ratings booster, Jacob, here on the Ryback Show. Jacob's not coming in. Son of a gun. We have a super chat coming in here. Give me 1 second. Where did that let me scroll down a minute here on the Ryback show. Cody told, hold on. Yeah, I don't know where we're gonna go. The Roman, I don't know how I don't know how long they're gonna go with the title reign with it. I don't know. But I'm telling you, anybody complaining, unfortunately, when you're going to do something really special and cool like this, if they're going to go for a really long time, you're going to have a lot. Everybody's going to be a supporting role in the babyface side of things, some more than others. And that is where everybody should be applauding the talent that are helping build this special thing, because it will be truly, truly unbelievable for the person who does dethrone him, right? It's like the Undertaker WrestleMania streak. God forbid we had social media for all of that streak. Can you imagine how many of you would have been? You guys all would have been, man, Undertaker needs to lose. Wins 3, 4, 5 in a row. This guy needs to lose. You guys would have been calling for his head at number 6 and 7, let alone 20, whatever it was. Like, come on. Like, this is how you build stuff, though. But it's it is, it takes a lot of supporting actors to main supporting actors to get that job done. And WWE, I tell you, I don't know how long they plan on going. I don't know who they're going to have for him main event wise. I mean, they've gone through the roster pretty much, right? I don't know who all is really left that could bring meaningful matches and storylines. All right, let's see here. Cena should have beaten Theory and put Braun Breaker over on Raw for the title. That could have, I mean, not a horrible thing with it. But I think, and I need to go back and watch that match between Theory and Cena. I have not seen it. I think I saw a few clips on it, but it's John's not there full time, and John is doing a lot of other things, and it's, I think, anytime for him to be a part of WrestleMania and get figured in. And I told you a lot of things have happened with John, and the story is out there with things, and the Nexus stuff and a lot of other things with him at times, and with him, and he's gotten older, and I'm sure he it probably, he's had to live with that and things, and maybe wants to help put over a few guys towards the end, and everyone kind of has their own style and way of doing things. Some guys are used in more different roles, but Cena is he's made, he can go away for another year and come back next year at Mania and get a win with it. He's still young enough to keep doing this for quite a while if he wants, if he can keep himself close to what he is, and he doesn't have any roles that he has to lose too much weight for. So with it, but that was a big win for Austin Theory, and they obviously, Vince McMahon is high on him, and Cena and Vince are quite close. So, that's for all of you that have your opinions on what you think should be done. There's a whole other group of people that like the opposite of what you like. And WWE has to deal with that with every wrestling company. With, if Roman would have lost, there would have been a whole group of people complaining about Cody winning. And then the Cody people would have been, also the Cody fans would have been happy that he won with it. And then it's just that you would have the Roman fans complaining that he never should have lost yet, that it was a waste to do it before 1,000 days. So you have to have common sense and understand there's always a group complaining. Always. Doesn't matter what direction we go. There's a whole portion of people complaining all the time with it. Always. Usos, I guarantee you, people that love the Usos are upset and complaining they lost the titles to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn on night one. Love that match, by the way. I thought it was a fantastic, and I was really happy for Sami and Kevin, and in particular Sami, with how he'd been used and how much he's been elevated from when he entered the Bloodline angle to getting to headline night one and main event night one, and then also on night two to have that ended where Sami and them came in. It looked like it was going to set up for Cody to get the win, it didn't happen. But Sammy had another big moment on night 2 of WrestleMania with Kevin as well, and I really enjoyed that. Oh, let's talk about that. That was another Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre. I watched that on the drive home yesterday. You talk about Big E was watching that, giggling at big meaty men chopping meat. Is that what what's the Big E phrase on that? That was an intense, hard hitting match. And man, I really thought that Sheamus was gonna, that would have been a great spot to give Sheamus the IC title. But they are, I'm telling you, they are heavily invested in Gunther. It looks like, with everything. And they probably want to keep Hunter's good at this. Will Hunter, because he'll keep the title on him, and Roman's with the main title. And sometimes if Gunther would have lost that, then he could. People would have thought maybe if Gunther lost the IC title, he's going to get moved up into the main event scene. But if they're not ready to drop the title off of Roman, and plus they're both heels with it, so the timing of it wouldn't be good. So knowing kind of how Hunter is and with how he protects the guys that he likes, Gunther will probably keep the IC title almost, I'll say, simultaneously with Roman in kind of parallel paths with everything until Roman loses. That would be my guess. If they're trying, because they're investing in Gunther and building him up here, and doing a good job with it as well. And I loved the group with in the entrance and the presentation, and the style of wrestling. And he has a unique look, right? He just looks a little different with it. And so I see that being down the line. They'll pull the trigger on that once probably the Roman storyline is finally coming to an end. Let's see here. The chop counter was 72. There were 72 chops thrown in that match. Only 70. I feel like there was way more than 72. I feel like there were 72 the first 5 minutes. There was so many chops in that match. But there were so many, there were strikes, chops, the Sheamus blows to the chest. Those were, I really like that spot with Sheamus. Went all the way, 29-30 on that. That was impressive. You want to talk about that will get you breathing a little bit. And taking that, I've taken them. Those, you feel those. Everybody, whenever you're wrestling and like guys like Sheamus, you're hitting hard in safe places. I love that style. You don't want to do that every night, because you don't want, like showering in your body, you're all bruised and scabbed up with it and stuff. So you don't want to do that all the time. But it's fun to go out there, because it's like just exerting and getting rid of all pent up frustration and rage. You're just out. It's like working out. It's really good therapy. A match like that from time to time, you just want to go out there and just let loose and just get all your aggression out, anything that's bothering you. And you're not hurting anybody, but you're just getting, and it's with guys that like they're dishing it out and taking it, and you're going to go to the back and you're not going to go complain to anybody like, oh, you hurt me, because you guys are tough. Like that's my favorite style, like with that, but not the chopping and everything all the time, but that style, the aggressive, tough guy, just big meaty men chopping meat. Good to see all of you guys. Good to see all of you. Welcome to the Ryback Show. Sweet Sugary in the house. We talked about Shane up on the front part of it. I think Snoop got a little help though on, quite frankly. And I do, like I said, I do believe Snoop. I think my guess is he was supposed to punch Miz after the match, but also was creative, like to know, like, oh, Shane is down. Let's just go punch Miz. And then they instructed him to probably do it again. And then you hear them instruct him to do the people's elbow, or a people's elbow, from the referee if you go back. And she's yelling to him. She yells to him twice. he didn't quite hear her the first time. She goes, people's elbow. And then he looks and then he got it. And man, that was hilarious with all of that. But yeah, he definitely, though, it was my favorite thing that he, though, was able to still just, he had to have some initiative on his own, I would have to think, even though they did, I think, direct him a little bit. I'm taking a look at your questions here. Super chats are appreciated always, guys. Yeah, that was cool to see -1, Cody giving his belt to Harper's son. Yeah, man, it was, I'm sure that was an incredible moment for him, and anything, it was good to see the WWE acknowledge Luke Harper at WrestleMania and his son. I don't know if did they get him up close? I just heard it because I think I was getting home. I was almost home driving, and like, so I'm driving, I'm listening to it through my Bluetooth in the car with it. And but by the time when I looked at the screen, they were already zoomed out. So if they did, I missed it if they zoomed in on them. Good to see all of you guys. What will happen is I've got there's a deadline coming up here, guys, and after this deadline, which I could talk more about this tomorrow, and then I get my I should be getting my documentation very shortly for the Ryback trademark, and then we will get cleared for the shoulder, and then proceed to move forward with the plan of action with things, and then see, and we'll go from there. Just we got to see with it. I will say I definitely do with everything that's gone on. I've talked to enough wrestlers when I was out there at WrestleCon, and guys that I consider that I use the word friend very. I don't use that word easily. Guys that I worked very closely with and know and get along with really well. You know that they go that know me, that know everything that's going. They know like the truth of everything going on. They go, this is wild, because they hear from like other wrestlers that don't know me, like the negative things that got built up while I was away, and they just go, this whole thing is crazy. I could tell it is affected with me being away from the business and not being able to defend myself and being suppressed with it. It has done a certain level of damage with the core audience of people, but not the people that know, but it's the people that read the negative articles or the things with it, and being away. So I am looking forward to and I'm looking forward to the truth winning. And that's what just everyone I talk to and with it, and they just go, you just, all you got to do is come back. And then the people that have put out the lies, and the one guy knows, and I could tell he's scared. The one guy that put out quite a bit of lies with it, he knows I'm healthy, and he came and took a look and can see that I am completely fine now with it. And he has to be shitting bricks, because if I'm able to come back and do what I know I can do, he's going to be exposed as a liar. And then he's going to forever be tarnished for trying to tarnish another person's career with lies that you do not do. And that is why I will not be shocked if he reaches out at some point and wants to talk, because the truth is going to win if I come back, which was one of the reasons why this one person was trying to say things to not get me hired with something, which wasn't even wrestling at the time that he's doing this with it, but has tried to convince other people within that environment that I'm bad. But enough people in that environment know me and know it's a lie to begin with. So he's playing a very risky game, playing with fire with it. And so I'm smiling because I know I have multiple paths with all of this, but the truth will win. And I'm looking forward, and I'm not even going to go into all of it, but I saw this in the couple of the days at WrestleCon, and it is the greatest feeling in the world to be in this position now. This is a good Vince McMahon's mustache. How could we forget this? I saw Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. We took a picture. and talked for a bit. And that's the first thing Hawkins does. Have you seen the picture? The picture of Vince's mustache has come out, and I go, no, I haven't seen it. And he pulled it up, and it was wild, man. His hair's all dyed. I have nothing against like people. I'm not like the look though. He looks like Satan to me. I don't know about anybody else. Like the picture of Vince, he with the hair dye and like he looks like the poster child for Satan. It's the most fitting look I think he's ever had. But we'll see what happens. I'm really curious to see what happens with this UFC deal with everything, man. It would but the very powerful organizations are now even more powerful. So it's I've got the work cut out for me on my social media. That's all I could say. It's it is it's the craziest damnedest thing in the world with all of it. But what can you do? Good to see all of you guys. Mango, pro wrestling is physical acting. The roles are determined prior to going out to the ring. Because Mango goes, can you beat Josh Alexander? I could beat Josh Alexander in the ring if that is decided in the back prior that Ryback is going to beat Josh Alexander. Otherwise, if it was decided that Josh Alexander is going to beat Ryback in the ring on the particular event, then Josh Alexander would win. That's how pro wrestling works, Mango. I'm saving you a lifelong of grueling stress and frustration. Okay, you're welcome. Because you've now typed that out multiple times on my chat about this, and so I want to help you understand pro wrestling, Mango. Thank you very much, Sarah, saying I think you have a knack for storytelling. I'd love to see you as a head writer or producer. It would be magical to see your ideas play out. Yeah, but I would do that only if I'm back and then had say creatively for me that I could prove how good I am through my own storylines and not even winning and losing like on that, but just from the creative end. I 1000% I agree with your statement. It's very easy. Boogeyman kept telling me Boogeyman the whole time because we would just talk about things and I would come up with something or say he goes, you should be in creative. He goes, I've not seen anything like that. He goes, you're the way your mind works and you just think of things like the video. Remember the video? I did the video with me and Boogeyman on my TikTok. We have, I think, 500,000 views already in a couple days of me sitting there. And I told him the event was done. Everybody was gone. We were the last ones there, or a few of the last ones there. And I said, I go, Boogie, just record me sitting here. And so Boogie just records me. And I go, just pan off and film nobody around. And then I go, I need to get a shot of you real quick. Just be the Boogeyman. He literally does it. I boom, do a quick little cut edit. I already had the music in mind. One is a lonely number with the Boogeyman. Bam, bam, bam. Put it up. And Boogie is just like, he goes, how do you think of that? I go, I literally just have ideas that just pop in my head constantly. And I know I know how to put videos and make people feel an emotion. And to be funny, I'll make fun of myself and but I'll keep you looking like the Boogeyman, but make me look silly with it. And that's little things. I've been in pro wrestling my whole life, and that I love entertainment. I've loved entertainment my whole life. So, but I would be, I don't know. I think that job is overall. I would like to be invested creatively and prove myself through my storyline with that, and people can learn from that. I feel and apply it to other things. I don't know if I want to be a writer for everything. I enjoy having peace of mind at night. God damn it. I need a new script. Sorry, sir. I'll stay up all night and write another one for you to rip up tomorrow morning. We talked about the Shane segment already, bud. Good to see all of you. Hello, hello. I don't know what the deal with Bray Wyatt is, man. I have no idea what's going on. I did not hear anything during WrestleCon weekend about that. I also didn't ask, but I love Bray and I hope everything is all right and he's able to come back. The pro wrestling business is a very tough business and with guys and talent and this is a big problem, and I just have learned, and I got out of that, and I have peace of mind, and I feel amazing, and have kept myself, I think, youthful and stress free, despite things that are very stressful at times. But I recognize when I don't have control over something, not to try to let it stress me out too much with it. But being in that system stresses you out massively with the things that go on if you are not in that contract. If when you're under those contracts of them just having control over your life, it is, which is what I thought I got away from. And then Vince did everything with my social media when he couldn't get it with the NDA to try to control my life still, because it's all a game. Vince, I'll tell you exactly what Vince is doing. Vince is trying to dry me out over time so that I have to go back to them. And they tried to tarnish my name so no other wrestling promotion they think would hire me, so that I have to crawl back and would have to work for them very cheap. And then he could torment me on TV all over again. I swear to God, that's 1000% their game plan with how they're doing everything with it. Unfortunately for them, they don't realize how much I actually have and how long I could ride that out even and have multiple ways if all of that was executed to a T on their end. So, but it's going to be all right. Ryback's still over in my house. I got 3 girls, 22, 17, and 6 years old. They all know the big guy. Everybody loves the big guy. Tell them I said hello and thank you very much. Yeah, Raw after Mania tonight. This is a night I'm looking forward to seeing if we have some really, really good surprises tonight and debuts. Braun Breaker's very possible with him dropping the NXT title, right? I think Braun is somebody that we could see make their debut tonight. KG, hey KG, hope you're doing well. Thank you. Hey, KG, did you just call me special needs? You said I'm very gifted. Is that like you saying I ride the short bus, KG? You're just telling me that, like rubbing my head, like Ryback, you're so special. Thank you, baby Ruth. Have a coffee. Shut up, big guy. Thank you. Super chat ACW online. Thank you very much. When Shane tore his quad, did Snoop improvise that whole segment and Miz just played along? How does that work if things don't go as planned? Producer, yeah, we talked about that on the earlier part of the show today. That I think what I think one, I think credit to Snoop all the way, no matter what, just for because it was all executed pretty smoothly on this, and I think it was a group effort. Though what I think, and this is just a guess, but we did all hear the referee say people's elbow. My guess was that whatever the match was supposed to be for Shane to win probably a pretty quick match. They probably had a few spots in there. Shane was eventually going to win pretty quickly. My guess would have been Miz eventually after the celebration and Shane in there would have been probably some sort of segment where Snoop Dogg was supposed to punch Miz and lay Miz back out again after. That is my guess. So then what happened is Shane tore his quad on the leapfrog there down. And you got to remember the ref has the earpiece. There's other people all around the ring. There's people that are kneeled down around the barricades that you don't even see on camera. They all have headsets on. So you have like Hunter or Vince or both, Kevin Dunn on headset usually, and multiple other people. The producer of the match is typically on the headset. And usually you only hear like the main Kevin Dunn and Vince or Hunter talking and communicating with that. But when that happens, like my guess is Hunter is right there listening and watching this, and that they know instantly when they see that Shane is hurt. So all they got to do is go, oh no, tell Snoop to get in the ring and punch Miz. So somebody on the ring, like, Snoop, go punch Miz, could easily be yelled by anybody while Snoop is off camera with that to go. And this is my guess on what that was. Or Snoop just knew that happened, and he goes, well, we're going to punch anyways. I'm going to go do my part now with it, right? But after that happened on the first one, you hear the referee go, people's elbow. Snoop didn't totally get it, and then she yells it again. If you go back and watch, people's elbow. And that's Hunter or Vince or whoever or Kevin Dunn yelling something to do because the match, the commentators are like, the match is still technically going on because they're all kind of scrambling to make sense of something of the injury, right, with it. And that's when then Snoop did it, and it was just so seamless and smooth. And I like I said in the beginning of the show, it made it probably better than it was going to be with it. And unfortunately, and Shane was hurt, and this is not nothing on that. It was good that Shane got hurt. That's a horrible. You never want to see this at all. And Shane was always very good to me, and I like Shane a lot. Probably my favorite of the people. Him and Stephanie both were really good with me whenever conversations we had with that. Never won any negative interactions with those two with it. But Shane, I was only there for a brief period before at the end, but we had a couple good conversations. But just Snoop did it so good, and the people I think were so entertained by Snoop Dogg with it. It was funny, right? And Miz being a professional and knowing that what's going to happen anyways. And so it's almost like that punch, and that was at the plan at the end of the match anyways after the thing was over. And you know, maybe the people's elbow could have been planned too after that. That's very possible that whole thing was, and they just bumped it up. That whole thing got eliminated. Okay, we're just going to carry on with the end part of it. So, but that still could. Snoop didn't like act like he was lost or confused, right? And that is where he really handled it really well. As because guys like Miz, of course, because Miz is a professional, we know when something to what to do. Miz knew as soon as Shane went down. You see the Miz like kind of looking like it's still a fight, right? Staying in, not looking like, oh my God, is he like you're not breaking character. And Snoop did the same thing, and he's not in that environment all the time. So it was amazing. It was really, really good. Let's see. You think they could reunite DY? What is DYI? I don't know what that is off the top of my head. Vince, chicks are digging my stash. I feel like Tom Selleck. They're calling me Magnum TI. It's a different look for sure. I think he actually looks younger though with the look now than he looked prior. I'll tell you, his hair is doing good still, though. He's still got his hair. Can I do a leapfrog? Yes, I did leapfrogs my entire time in developmental. I used to do them all the time. WWE, by the way. So you want to know in WWE? I don't think I did. I don't think I did one leapfrog in WWE, or very rarely. One after my ankle injury, I could still jump really high and do things. I used to dunk a basketball in high school. I've always been really fast and can move. And I did them on the indies a couple times or a few times in the rings. And I do box jumps in things. But WWE, when I is Ryback, the producers would not let me do leapfrogs. They go, you do not do that. Was like they go, it was you do not do leapfrogs. You run through people, and that's when it like. And I understand the psychology of it because leapfrogs are avoiding your opponent. That a leapfrog is from a psychological standpoint is when you drop down and you leapfrog, you're trying to avoid contact with your opponent. I am looking for contact with my opponent, and this is real stuff that goes but this is knowing how to work to your persona and your character, and then you figure out other things to do. Then so I'm not going to do a leapfrog for you to go under because I want to show everybody that I could jump and move, but that doesn't look like it just doesn't look like what a killer would do. A killer would not try to avoid contact. These are the things a lot of you don't understand, and like a lot of new wrestlers don't put any thought into either, and they're not being told, depending on what their character is, the psychology of why you do certain things. You know, when you're going for a drop down, you're technically supposed to be trying to trip your opponent off the ropes with that. And some guys do it better than others. So when you do it, you want to aggressively throw yourself that you're trying to, but you miss. The opponent jumps over you real quick, right? That's why, like, you got to know why. It's not just a spot. You're not just doing it to get to a thing to do this. there's always a reason for the things. So you have to know your character while you're doing it. I'll go, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come at you then with a really aggressive line. I'm going to try to take your head off, or a really aggressive back elbow, or I'm going to come charging at you like I'm kind of trying to grab you and you could duck under. There's things that you do to get to the same point eventually that you're going to get to, but it fits your character more, right? But yeah, I could do leapfrogs all day long. I could do it, and it's not. But that was explained to me by the producers very early on, and because I was already doing things really well for the character, but there's other little things that go, point taken, point taken. Joshua says, I used to brush you off as just bitter, but I've been looking into it more, and I just want to apologize, and I support you, men. I hope everything works out for you. Thank you very much, Joshua. That is very, very kind of you, and I appreciate you being able to communicate that and taking the time to not just listen and read what things, and to take the time to make an opinion and to form an opinion on your own. And I wish more people had, not saying that you were sorry. I just wish more people took that approach to things in life, rather than just believing things and whatnot. So thank you very much. Hello, hello, hello. Also, as an update, I will say I'm not going to go into the details, but so WrestleCon, with everything with a good old Mark Henry, WrestleCon decides to put Mark Henry on. I guess I didn't even know he was going to be there. He's directly behind. We had our curtains between. There was literally only a curtain separating me and Mark Henry the entire WrestleCon, and I can gladly tell you guys, because by the way, I made no threats in this. The other person did, along with their lies, that if when he saw me, he was going to rip the flesh off of my bones. I'm glad to tell you guys that not once did anybody rip the flesh off of my bones with anything, and we are fully intact. So you can take that along with the other lies and put those all in a big bag together, and then light that bag of shit on fire. Hello, hello, hello. Ryback versus Lesnar is what we want. Oh, bro. Oh, I don't watch. I didn't watch. I know what you're talking about now from NXT. I wasn't. I've never been big into the. I'll see a little bit of NXT. I don't watch NXT like I watch like AEW or WWE. I apologize. I don't have time to. And I look at it. I try. I do view, because people in NXT are coming up, and I remember I want to watch the people at the highest level, in the sense of, not saying that the people in NXT aren't talented, because they are, but they're still learning and they're going to make mistakes. And you can always learn from watching things. I like watching just I don't ever look at myself that I would be on NXT. So it's not something that's on the radar. So I watch the things that I think I could still learn, and that, and they only have so much time during the week. If that was the only thing on, then okay. But there's other things that I view as higher on the list for me with that. I don't know why my laptop. How's that? The battery going? The power cord on my laptop. What we're going to do, guys, is we're going to wrap up today's show. I think that somebody came into my podcast studio when I was gone, whether it was one of the dogs, and knocked out one of the cords. But I want to wrap up the show before the battery dies, so that we get everything pushed out. Check out, guys, my Feed Me More Nutrition on feedmemore.com. We've got all the discounts in the description. This is available all podcast platforms. iTunes reviews greatly appreciated. And we will be back tomorrow for another early edition of the Ryback Show, guys. Thank you for all the love and support. Again, thank you to everyone that came out at WrestleCon, and thank you to everybody for the love and support throughout everything going on. We're getting closer and closer to that finish line, and we are no doubt going to finish it. Have a great, great Monday. And until next time, my friends, stay hungry. Feed me more.